about, like, you want to play a board game with your friends, you both bought a copy of the game. This is already great for games developers, because they've now sold 2 board games rather than 1. So you can both play at home. That means, like, as a dad, I don't have to go leave the family house for like 6 hours to go and meet my mates from university or, at the other end of the country. How can we make that work? Because if I've got a copy of the game and they've got a copy, we basically still can't play together, because there's like a deck of cards you maybe have to shuffle. Who knows what cards next? A lot of the pieces are kind of rationalized out. I was like, well, maybe if you had something that kind of tilted your tablet or your phone so it would sit and look at your playing field. And what if the computer, like the program, sorted and shuffled the cards for you and just told you which card to get out next? You'd not know. It doesn't mean somebody shuffling the cards saying, oh, the next card's this, get that from your deck. It could allow everybody to play by giving everybody instructions whilst keeping hidden information still hidden, so that everyone can enjoy the game rather than having one play, And I started looking at those sorts of solutions. Like, what could you do to add to games using this technology? Like, if you get your escape room game, and how could like AR add to that experience and make it better and more immersive? I'm just interested in that.
Okay, I see. It's interesting because basically we had a similar idea about the augmented reality games in multiplayer. We wanted to let 2 people play the same game, and it was supposed to be an active game, which is the only difference to the concept that you have just described. But anyway,
so what do you mean by active game?
So meaning that you would have to move around when you play the game.
Yeah.
So you won't be able to play it if you are just sitting on the couch. Of course, you will be able to play it, but you won't be probably able to complete the levels, the missions.
Okay.
And again, we went even further and we added the avatars of the players in augmented reality. So cool. Meaning we would be able to play together if you had a copy of the application on your phone, Luke and me, and I would be playing in Berlin, you in London, Luke in Portugal, and we would see the avatars of each other. And we would play against the avatars in augmented reality.
I think it's really good.
Basically, the same approach can be used for the board games.
Yeah.
Because we have already developed the server that can be used for multiplayer in augmented reality and for multiplayer in virtual reality.
Cool.
And we can just use the same solution that we already have to do the main job, if you want.
Okay, yeah, no, that's really good. Because that's one of the that's
players.
Yeah, no, that is really good. Because that's something where I am not good at multiplayer design for games. Not my special field. I've learned bits of it because I was like, I kind of need to know how to link computers together, but without these are all personal projects. So they don't have funding for servers and stuff. So I was like, I kind of know it. Cerebrally know that it's quite important to be able to have people linked. It's how to do it. To make because I don't know if you're aware, for board games, there's a few different programs, like websites, that are quite good. You can play online. I don't know, Tabletop Simulator is really good.
Okay.
There's these sorts of online solutions, but they don't quite give you the feel of the pieces. They also don't involve the retailer actually selling any games. And yeah, it's not. You want that kind of AR sort of tangent, a feel to it. You want to feel the augmented reality. You want to feel the pieces, as well as having the game give you kind of cool feedback. And it's just figuring out how to kind of make these things on that level, how to make a physical board game playable with more people, whilst also selling physical board games. I think is important for games designers and games developers. I want them to keep being out there designing these games. They got to be, they've got to sell cool boxes with bits in.
But right now you don't even need the game itself to play it. I mean that we should be able, no, we can show the playing field in augmented reality as well.
Yeah, we can do all of that with just that, but I think that loses something sometimes. Like there's different versions. That I think one of the issues with having it purely augmented and that kind of holographic board in front of you, is that you lose some of the, like, it's not necessarily different from it just being on a website. Like all the time, I think, like I try to think, and this is kind of counterintuitive, but I try to think reductively to like, okay, so if I'm gonna, how, as the laziest I can possibly be as a gamer, I'm really, really lazy, like super, super, super lazy. How lazy can I be and still play the game? Like, can I just sit on a website moving a mouse around, just sort of that motion? And if it's going to be like AR, it's got to add something tangible that I won't just eventually go, oh, I'd just rather be on a website being lazy. So it's really hard to think that, okay, how am I going to like what's the purpose of the augment? And part of it is I can have tangible physical pieces, and like I quite like those. Is it enough to get me off a website? Yeah, if the user interface is good enough and I'm still just doing the pieces as they are, maybe that's a better implementation of the game, rather than just like Board Game Arena, Tabletop Simulator, where I'm just doing all the same. I always try to think, could it be like, here's the idea, here's the counter to the idea. Does the idea kind of outweigh the counter? And a lot of the time, they are. It's kind of like, I don't know, 50-50 on whether it does. But it's just about finding like the hook that makes it different. Yeah. So I think with the board games, it's about finding like, can we add? So you either have pure AR games, which I think should probably be at this stage hyper casual. And this is real opinion now. I think a hyper casual sequence of games is a really strong, that can be played in AR and just like as an app, and can be in AR. You've got the option to do either or, so that you can focus on like location, going out into the world, sitting at home, just kind of swiping, playing match 3 or something. Different types of puzzles all themed together. I think that's like a really strong kind of game combo, like a package that maybe will interest people. And I also think conversely, you've got games that have real physical pieces that are that augmented reality is just there to add to it, either with connectivity, helping other people play with you, or because that's one of the big advantages of online play is it's really bloody easy. People love sitting at home with a joypad and chatting to their mates down the headset. Just doing that with board games is pretty neat. Or like escape room. There's an escape room idea where you kind of got like, you create almost a software as a service version of an escape room. So they buy their pieces, then they pay a subscription to always be getting more escape rooms from using the same bits. Giving them always a new way to solve a puzzle, and sort of locking them into like a Netflix style, oh, there's a new puzzle to solve kind of thing. Those I think are really, yeah. That's my thoughts.
Okay, I see. So as far as I can understand, you would be able to help us to prepare that pitch deck for Asmodee.
I can do some of it and give you some ideas. Like design-wise, I don't have a lot of time to deploy on like designing it. I can feed into the ideas of what I think Asmodee will want.
Okay, I guess the ideas only would be sufficient because if you know the brand so well, and if you know the board games of the brand so well, and then your input would be really valuable.
Yeah, I think I can really add quite a lot there. Yeah, I mean, I really do know the brand. Like I know that one of the games they've discontinued very recently. It's one that I play, so I was like, but there's some quite interesting.
What's interesting is not only do you know the board games, but you know the what's happening within the ecosystem. So what's moving, what's coming out, what's not doing so well, what has the biggest kind of like following, why it has the biggest following. So it's not just the gaming aspect, but actually the brand and the evolution of the brand, and where they're going, what trends they're looking at, I guess, because you're tapped into the trend aspect, so you can almost see potentially where they might want to go and preempt that. And if we can see their roadmap by understanding the journey of the brand and how the games have evolved, the board games have evolved, we can come in at the right time with the right pitch when they're ripe for it. And that's just my feeling right now. And this process that we're going through is to really kind of to substantiate that and really to nail that process. So we meet them at that point, at that junction.
Yeah, I think it's right to get the right time, because there's like, there are key things. I mean, I spend a lot of time with like their fan base, and like every fan base nowadays, they're a brutal bunch. But yeah, I spend a lot of time like with the fan base, understanding like the properties, what people are thinking on the ground level. I spend a lot of time with game designers, kind of interacting with what they're kind of thing. I mean, we're looking at designing some games at one point with a couple of my friends. So we've sort of met. Yeah, I have quite a good understanding of that, but also from the perspective of like augmented reality, I understand what's possible today, what's possible tomorrow, what's likely to be like solid options for them. Like I've found out recently, they've got that, obviously that Settlers of Catan game. They make that with Niantic now. So they are dipping the toe into AR, and they're outsourcing a lot of their IPs. Like they're kind of, it's quite interesting. There's some stuff happening with Asmodee that's quite interesting. Like as a gamer, you see that they're selling like a lot of their games and trying to outsource a lot of things, and they've shifted, because they're like an umbrella under which exists lots of games companies. They started shifting a lot of things around kind of over the course of COVID. And I think there is a lot of upheaval, and you're in a really, really good time to put something new across to them. They're changing a lot of what they do. Their pitch deck is all about moving their IPs into new media. Like a lot of what they said with their brands and their IPs, they're talking about like what's tomorrow going to be. Traditional board games, they're on the out with all this what's it called, the thing, the COVID. They've sort of dialed back a lot of things there. They've changed some of their models that they were using for like a lot of games. They've kind of scrapped a lot of those. They've changed, they've adapted, and there's a real shifting of the sands. I think it's a good, like AR would be a good AR game that's successful now would probably change how they run their business for a long time, I think. That's my thought on that.
I see.
Yeah.
Good. Did you have any agreement with Luke about how to proceed and what would be the next steps?
No, not at all.
Okay, I see. But I think that maybe you could write down like a one-pager with some of your ideas, and we would be able to proceed working on the pitch deck. And of course, just like to make sure that you don't spend much time on it, we only would need the text from you, and we would take care of the design and stuff like that.
I've sent him across quite a lot of stuff. I've said to Luke, I work a lot better orally than I do written. My writing is terrible. Like it is. I can write short form really well, but when you're talking about long concepts, think too faster, right? Yeah.
So I just mean the basic idea, and we can proceed from there. Like the idea in 2-3 sentences, or look.
The video that I recorded yesterday with David, I think captures two key concepts. It might be worth you and the team looking at the IP for Asmodee for the deck, and then if you like what David's already shared, you can come back with questions and say, okay, this makes sense, this makes sense, and then you can look at our current structure that we've created for the document, and then think about how we can integrate those ideas into that current structure. And if there's aspects that's missing that we think we can go deeper into developing the concepts out to really make it to really make it really clear and engaging for the people that we share the deck with, we can ask David questions. I also think it might be interesting to record a video, just record us having a conversation about what we would do for Asmodee, like the video I shared, but a bit more smarter. We look a bit more professional, and then send that with a deck to them, and I can just send it to the top level contacts Asmodee with a little introduction on LinkedIn saying, we've conceptualized some ideas for you. We work in AR. This is who we are. We love your brand, and we want to share some of our ideas with you, as we believe this is going to be a really great. This is going to add tremendous value to your existing brand and for the evolution of your digital product offering, something like that. And then and then it's a gamble. You know, they opened up this conversation to us last year. They shared their deck. We've taken it. We've responded to it. We send it back to the people that shared it with us, and we see if they're willing to explore this further with us through this process.
Okay, I agree. Great. Let us proceed in this way, and then we will write down the minutes and send probably the brief concept to you based on the call with you that Luke recorded, and maybe you just will be able to do some edits to this concept when we are done.
I think quite importantly, like if you guys have any questions about the stuff I say, do ask them, because I will be assuming, like I have kind of assumed knowledge of you know, I know this board game or that board game, and maybe I'll make references that I won't even realize aren't just like, you know, common kind of tabletop knowledge. So if there's any kind of questions you have, like about specifics, do ask them, because I might not even realize I've kind of gone at 1,000 miles an hour. You know, it's just kind of how I operate.
That's from my end. That's cool. I mean, Alek, I've sent you what we've got. Is that enough for you to work with right now from your end?
Yes, I think so. It should be enough.
And then you can use the template that I created for Asmodee with XRN Asmodee. You can use the Google Docs template for the structure of the presentation. If you've got designers that can really work on that and customize it, and then come back to Dave with any questions about the concepts, and then we can deepen into that process. I'm also recording this conversation too, so I'm going to share this conversation with everyone, so we can. There's some very interesting things that you said in the beginning, David, I think is relevant, and then we package that and streamline that, and then share that.
Cool.
Good, great. Sounds like a plan. Thank you, David, and I will share with you the videos after the call.
Okay, fantastic. Oh yes, please do.
You're all connected now in the XRA Creative chat. But,
okay, fantastic. Brilliant.
Nice one, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you for your time. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you. Bye.